This Star Trek doctor's Vulcan expertise was set up by Strange New Worlds. How Strange New Worlds quietly rewrote a classic Star Trek strength. One of the smartest long-game storytelling decisions in Star Trek. Strange New Worlds isn't about Captain Pike, the Gorn, or even Spock's emotional struggles. Instead, it quietly reshapes how fans understand one of Star Trek's most underrated doctors, Dr. Joseph M'Benga. For decades, viewers of Star Trek, the original series knew M'Benga primarily as the Enterprise physician with unusual expertise in Vulcan physiology. He appeared only briefly, yet his knowledge stood out immediately. The question lingered for years. Why did a human Starfleet doctor know so much about Vulcans? Thanks to Strange New Worlds, we finally have an answer, and it turns out the groundwork was being laid long before fans realized it. M'Benga was always more important than TOS suggested. When Dr. M'Benga appeared in the original series, portrayed by Booker Bradshaw, he instantly carried narrative authority. Unlike many guest medical officers, M'Benga wasn't learning about Vulcans. He was already an expert trusted to treat Spock himself. In fact, dialogue established that M'Benga had previously studied medicine on Vulcan. That single line was fascinating but frustratingly unexplored. Classic Star Trek often introduced brilliant concepts without time to expand them, leaving fans to imagine the backstory themselves. For decades, that Vulcan connection felt like trivia. Strange New Worlds transforms it into character destiny. Strange New Worlds turns expertise into experience. In Strange New Worlds, played by Babs Olusanmoken, M'Benga isn't simply a background physician. He's emotionally complex, battle-scarred, and deeply familiar with Vulcan biology, particularly when treating Spock. The show repeatedly places M'Benga at the center of Spock's most vulnerable medical moments. Whether managing hybrid physiology complications or stabilizing injuries that human medicine alone couldn't handle, M'Benga demonstrates calm confidence that goes beyond textbook knowledge. And that's the key difference. His expertise isn't academic anymore, it's personal. By consistently showing M'Benga treating Vulcan-specific conditions, Strange New Worlds retroactively validates his future reputation in the original series. Viewers now understand that by Kirk's era, M'Benga isn't just qualified, he's arguably Starfleet's leading authority on Vulcan medicine. Spock is the missing link. The emotional bridge between both eras is, of course, Spock. Played in Strange New Worlds by Ethan Peck, this younger Spock is still learning how to balance logic and emotion, meaning his medical needs are far more complicated than those seen later under Captain Kirk. M'Benga becomes one of the few crew members trusted with Spock's vulnerabilities. He understands the dangers of emotional overload in Vulcans, recognizes hybrid biological stress, and treats Spock not as an anomaly but as a patient deserving dignity. This repeated trust subtly explains something long puzzling in the original series. Why Spock appears completely comfortable under M'Benga's care. That comfort wasn't built overnight. It was earned years earlier aboard Pike's Enterprise. Vulcan medicine reflects M'Benga's philosophy. What makes this setup especially brilliant is how Vulcan medicine mirrors M'Benga's own worldview. Unlike Dr. McCoy, whose emotional, instinct-driven approach would later clash with Vulcan logic, M'Benga operates in balance. He respects science, discipline, and restraint while still embracing compassion. That balance makes him uniquely suited to Vulcan patients. Strange New Worlds repeatedly shows him practicing patience, controlled emotional expression, and cultural understanding, traits essential when working with Vulcans. Rather than treating Vulcan biology as alien, he treats it as something worthy of study and respect. In hindsight, this feels less like coincidence and more like professional evolution. Starfleet didn't randomly assign a Vulcan specialist. It created one through years of lived experience.